Brown pumping off adrenaline. I'm way too in my element. I know there's people better than, but right now who is better than? A man that's working hard as shit, trying to find a pot to piss. Showing all the ups and downs, shit is filled with awkwardness. Working on my discipline, time for me, I schedule it. Show my life unedited, I'll be doing shit I never did. Music therapeutic is a little dose of medicine.
What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Extreme Lifestyle Living Podcast. Now, today, what I want to talk to you guys about is self-care. However, I want to start changing the narrative as to how we even receive or perceive self-care. I want to talk about it in the form of self-regulation, self-regulating habits. And the reason why I want to talk about this a lot is because it is something I'm heavily focusing on right now. And the reason, I'm going to break it down into two sides. Number one is why I'm calling it self-regulation habits versus self-care. And then I'm going to talk about why I'm actually focusing on it in my life right now. And to be honest, to jump right into the second part of what I said in terms of why I'm focusing on it right now is I'm super busy. Right now we're trying to move out of this house. I really want to announce certain things as to where we're going and what we're doing and where we're moving to and all these different things. But I truly want to hold it close to the heart because for several reasons, but two main ones is, I haven't felt this amount of pressure to change my life and kind of step up to the plate since I've left my career 2.5 years ago. To take this job full time. And, that's a lot of pressure. And I'm super excited because I forgot how much clarity, how much focus, how much determination, how much energy comes from being under that amount of pressure. And, to be honest, that's a easy segue as to why I'm focusing on this right now is, the last 2.5-3 years, I've been doing this full time. The last 3.5 to say 4.5 years, I've been really pursuing this life. And the thing I lack the most is self-care, self-regulation. And, that's why I'm focusing on it so much right now is because I have so many things going on. Like today, for example, I'm recording the episode on Sunday. I showed the house to somebody today, showed the house to somebody yesterday. I'm showing the house to somebody on Tuesday. On top of this, I'm trying to balance the family and friends out. I'm also dealing with a lot of just extra administration stuff with the business and getting different appointments set up for it to make sure my financial safety is secured. And, also trying to grow as a human, grow as a person, grow as a business person, trying to make sure I'm showing up for my clients, make sure the business grows, and make sure every person I'm working with is prim and proper and taken fucking care of above all else. And, there's just a lot of moving pieces, and I think, going back into why I'm focusing on it is it's being able to know where I'm at all times in time and space when it comes to how many moving pieces I got. And they say pressure creates diamonds, which is fucking so true, but it's we can't allow the pressure to consume us, which is why I want to frame it as, the season of life I'm in right now is super busy. I'm really grinding, I'm really showing up, and I'm really trying to change where I'm at in a certain degree. And, that's why I'm focusing on the self-care and the self-regulating habits is to make sure I stay anchored, stay present, stay calm, stay collect, stay proud of what I'm doing and don't lose sight of anything. Don't let the animosity get ahead of me. Don't let the anxiety get ahead of me. Don't let burnout get to me, get sick again, or even just have depressive symptoms flare up because I'm working so much, I'm all over the place. I just really need to make sure that everything I do right now is with 110% the right intention, because at the end of the day, that's all that ever fucking matters. I could go on this long, elaborate rant as to, saying life is literally a pigment of our imagination. Yesterday's gone, tomorrow's not promised. All you do is have in this moment right now. So the 100% of the intentions in these moments at all times, whether you're listening to this, when I release it, the day after I release it, or 10 years after its release date, all that matters is in the moment that we have right now. And when you are in this season of grind time, busy life, and you don't have as much week to week, day to day, month to month regularity in your schedule, let's say it's more on autopilot or maintenance, or you just finished the season of working really hard and going off and, being super busy. But being in the season of fucking showing up and busy, it's like playoff season right now. So many variables are changing. That's a huge reason why I'm focusing on it, to keep me grounded, to keep me sane. And, I think that's the biggest reason. The best thing I've ever done for myself is focus on this. But the biggest reason why I'm even talking about this is leading to the second point of why I decided to take self-care and change it from self-regulation is because the biggest thing I lacked creating this fucking life, and this is why I'm trying to emphasize the importance of it. The biggest thing if you're my clients, I've been preaching this so much recently, but the biggest thing, a lot of animosity built up, so you guys understand the magnitude of why I'm saying this, is I never enjoyed myself. Sat down and was present within grinding and creating this life. And I wish I had just appreciated the journey more. I wish I had just sat back and just viewed my life from a different lens, which is what self-care / self-regulation does, is make you appreciate what you have in front of you. And it's not that I didn't. It's just being able to actively do it and notice it. Like I don't have a lot of great memories of me like actually sitting down and being proud of myself, not until as of recently. And when you start to realize the depths of how much self-care you neglected, and I'll talk about why I'm going to talk about self-regulation here in a second, but when you realize how much you put yourself on a back burner because you just got consumed in the busy season trying to show up and change the narrative for your fitness, your mental health, your mindset, your boundaries, whatever it may be, you get lost in the sauce. As cheesy as it sounds, you get lost and caught up into it. Whether it's, you have a friend group you're trying to impress, and next thing you know, you're pressing your own boundaries by doing things you shouldn't be doing for yourself, or ruining relationships with other people because you're trying to be a version of yourself that doesn't exist. Whether you're in a relationship and you're noticing that, that like it's veering off left, you want to go right, and you start disrespecting yourself. So in other regards, let's say you get too consumed in your fucking career and you just, all you care about is work, and all you do is want to show up and make more money and get that promotion and get that accolade and get that certificate and put the hours in and all these different things. Same thing when it comes to like drugs or anything else that numbs or avoids life. You just get so consumed in it and the idea of where you want to go, you forget where you're at right now. And that's the thing I miss the most. Like, me and Emma talk a lot recently about just like our different perspectives on how we've got here, what we've done in our life. And, we're super, super grateful for each other, ourselves, and proud of each other and ourselves as well. But my God, is it ever punched to the fucking face when you have conversations and, they, like someone that you're talking to has a different memory than you have. And, the perspective is a little like, just right off the top of my head, I remember when we moved to Kelowna, I was so just focused on just, I'm out here to grind, not a lick of fucking fun. All I'm doing is being obsessed with this. And, she always wanted to go to the snowboarding resort, Big White, out in Kelowna. And, looking back, I didn't even enjoy. I enjoyed myself when I was there and all those different things, but I could have enjoyed myself so much more. And it's not even the fact about enjoying myself as much as it is like being able to enjoy my life with my partner, and like seeing the enjoyment she gets from me enjoying it. And all of this wasn't there. The people around me weren't getting the best version of myself because I wasn't allowing myself to appreciate me becoming the best version of myself and all these different things. And that's why I just think it's super important to focus on self-care. And the reason why, to jump right into it, good segue of why I'm calling it self-regulation or self-regulating habits versus self-care, is because every time you mention self-care, it's in the same bracket as you got to work on your health. It's it's just like it's almost like it's an expectation that we have of ourselves, that we almost have the same expectation of, well, self-care, we're supposed to do. I get it. That's the same tone where it's like, well, you should probably eat healthy and work out. You're like, yeah, I know I know I get it. I'll do it. Same thing with journaling, same thing with reading, same thing with meditating. We all have this universal understanding of how beneficial it is. Yeah, I get it. But there's no like just shift, or unless it's like on the back foot for the most part, where that's why we all like take our fitness real serious, is we get to a point in our lives where we're not proud and not happy, and the next we had to reverse ourselves out of something, which makes us appreciate self-care. But until that happens, like, what I mean, none of us are proactively looking for self-care, because we're like, oh, well, and I don't want to say it's more of a female trait or a woman trait, but they're more emotional based. So, self-care comes from managing your emotions in more of a positive manner to a degree. Obviously, we can go on this tangent left, right, up and down about the political behind it, but self-care is just a form of self-regulating your needs, your biochemistry, your hormones, your life, your emotions, everything. Like, seriously, like, self-care is just whatever you do to regulate yourself. And the reason why I really want to highlight regulation is because I just finished reading a book. I don't know who it's by, and my desk behind me is gone because I sold it. Fuck. But it was a book on how important it is for our biochemistry. So if you know what biochemistry is, it's our dopamine, our serotonin, our cortisol, our fight or flight, adrenaline, all these different things. So biochemistry, these things. And that those become unregulated as adults because we're just like high functioning anxiety or low depressive, low frequency type people, and we're all over the place in between, which is why there's so many fucking stupid medications out there. But, self-care is just a form of self-regulating yourself. And I've been reading this book, and I just finished it, and it's just absolutely amazing as it talks about the importance of regulating your emotions and having things that regulate you. I learned a lot about this book to the point that, there was so much studies done on this too, that I ended up getting in tangents in this other case study about, like, literally, I think just for loose calculations and just for lack of conversation, so I don't go on this long rant, there was a study done about if someone was taken out of their home from, say there's two kids, case study A, case study B. Case study A, you're born into an abusive family, and you stay with them until you're about 3 to 5 years old, and then you leave them and then go into another house. And then And then in that house, let's say you have a very loving family, and you're all jacked up, whatever, or sorry, you grew up jacked up, but now you're like into a loving family. They show that, like, since you were so dysregulated in the beginning, it shows that it's super, super hard to regulate yourself at the back end. Now, let's say you grew up and immediately went into foster care and had everything regulated, your emotions regulated, and then let's say at 5, 6 years old, you end up going to another family that wasn't as regulated. The study shows that 9 times out of 10, the people that were born for the first 3 to 4 years of their life, super regulated, had a lot of care, had a lot of emotional support, and just was regulated, wasn't in chaotic environments, their depth of their mind that's able to snap back and regulate themselves is like fucking 10 times better, 10 times faster, 10 times more stronger than someone that was born in a chaotic environment, And the reason why I want to highlight that is because a lot of us have these crazy stories of how we grew up, this trauma, these events we were part of and all these different things. And, not to throw myself under the bus and use a negative undertone to it, but I was in foster care like several times before I was 3, 4 years old. Then I was adopted to my mother, or adopted to my grandmother for my mom, and all these different things. And, who cares what happened in terms of those 2 or 3 years? But I want to highlight the fact that there's so much unregulation for my emotional stability. Same with my parents and so forth, and generations and all these things. But for me personally, there's a lot of unregulated time, going back and forth between households, and not many households, but it's still, I need you to understand the severity as the simple regulation of this. Self-care is a form of you regulating your emotions. And if you look at your history of life, how chaotic was your life and all these different things, and understand, just really gain an understanding as to like how unregulated you may have been growing up, like whether it was abusive family, verbally yelling all the time, that's unregulated, you know what I mean? Whether it's anything, I'll let you paint the picture and fill it in, but the bigger picture here at play is self-care is you regulating your emotions. And when I read that book, and I had so many of the case studies in the book and chapters resonate with me, I had just such an eye-opening experience as to why I go through such highs and lows sometimes, and we could talk and label it all, get checked bipolar, checked ADHD, and all these different things. And yes, these are all labels as to how stress has affected us. Is our biochemistry tested and maybe a little bit different and altered and shaped different? Like some of us may be high functioning, some of us may be lower frequency, whatever it may be, of course. But if you look back at the studies, every single one of our quote-unquote mental health adversities or labels comes from a form of stress. Being unregulated is a big form of stress, and the biggest thing, like I said, the first reason why I'm even focusing on this is just, wasn't even in a position in my life to appreciate the journey that I've had, and now that's my main focus, so now that's why I'm focusing on it, is that I need to make sure I'm regulated, happy, healthy, and calm, and collect and focused, so self-care is just a form of you regulating yourself, self-regulating your habits, and just putting you back in alignment with you for you, and I think that's just such a unique perspective on it that I think that you guys can all take a lot away from, because I hate saying self-care, because it's like I said, it just doesn't have the respect that it deserves. It doesn't have that oomph. But I feel like when you say self-regulation or self-regulating habits, that hits. So it's like, okay, it's like when you're stressed out or you're dealing with some shit, it's like, how do you self-regulate yourself? And I'm literally saying this today, and I'm going to regulate myself by fucking getting a bubble bath like I do probably several times a fucking week. The new Fast and Furious came out on Netflix. I'm going to watch it. I want to be a cheesy fucking 14-year-old boy that just hit puberty, hears the roar of the fucking cars, I don't know nothing about them, and get excited. That regulates me. Me and Emma went and played pool on Friday. That regulates me. I played some Assassin's Creed yesterday. That regulates me. Playing video games and things like this. And all of this to close up the podcast episode, because I don't want to rant too long. I hit my points, is self-regulation habits, whatever it is that gets you into like your focus zone. There's many things out there. I could list off so many examples, but even to me going to the treadmill in the mornings, like doing my little bit of cardio, that's me regulating myself, and just really lean on these things, because at the end of the day, like I said, a little tangent was, the only thing we have is today. All we have is the intentions that we're going to put in these moments right now, before we get caught up into our brains and how we get just all lost in our brains sometimes and focus on all these different things. But self-care, aka self-regulating habits, self-regulation, is the most important thing in every one of our lives, because despite where you think you should be versus where you are right now, where you are right now once was a place you prayed for. And I can promise you right now that hits me so hard, because where I'm sitting at right now with this entire move that I'm even fucking planning and trying to situate is an absolute dream come true. I literally never thought I'd be here. And if I did, I thought I'd be in my middle to late 40s with a family still trying to figure it out. And here I am, 30 years old, done it all way faster than I absolutely ever thought imaginable, and doing things beyond my comprehension. And the whole time me building this, I wasn't regulated to enjoy it. So now my biggest focus is making sure I'm regulated to enjoy absolutely every single bit of my fruits of my labor, and to enjoy everyone around me, and so everyone else around me gets the best version of myself, so I can look back and be fucking ecstatic, saying I exceeded my expectations again as to how abundant my life could get. That's as cheesy I'm gonna get. I'm gonna close the episode off like that. I appreciate you guys all a ton. I really, really love this episode because it's just there's no, I don't have any factual stuff. I did hit some fact stuff in there, factual based stuff, based on the case study and things, but this is just straight up me being vulnerable and honest as to where I'm at right now in my life as of March 16th, 7:21 p.m. And I'm releasing this episode as soon as I upload it to everything I need to get it situated. And, as of right now, this name in the game, I'm saying the biggest thing I need to focus on, which a lot of you guys that I work with need to focus on this, is, just being appreciative for what you guys have done. And then be appreciative for yourself for the fact you're standing tall and fighting for the fucking shit you want. Like I said, we can talk about where we think we should be based on X, but we're not going to talk about that. We're going to talk about this moment right here and what we have power and capabilities to do with now. And that's all that matters. I hope you guys have a blessed week. Let's get it.
Bro, I'm pumping off adrenaline. I'm way too in my element. I know there's people better than, but right now who is better than? A man that's working hard as shit, trying to find a pot to piss. Showing all the ups and downs, shit is filled with awkwardness. Working on my discipline, time for me, I schedule it. Show my life unedited, I be doing shit I never did. Music therapeutic, here's a little dose of medicine.